Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. Really excited. We got a lot of great stuff to cover today. We're going to do a full room tour. Lots going on around the Lego room and a ton of projects that are on tap for the month of September. We've been largely focused for the last week or two on trying to bring order to the Lego room. We've got a lot of parts that have been coming in. It's been difficult to get around the layout, and we're starting to turn a corner with some of that, and really excited about a number of the things that are going to start to come online now that these, the parts are getting organized, Mills modules have been created, a lot of cool stuff ahead. September is going to be a really exciting month for us. We've got a train show that we will be displaying at. Really excited to get things wrapped up and ready to take to the train show. Always a fun time. And we are also on the cusp of getting Mills modules integrated all around our lower level layout. A lot of stuff starting to come online there, and I think it's going to be a really cool milestone to get, pretty much the entire lower layout fleshed out with Mills modules. It's been great to run trains around on the track down there as is, but once we get the Mills modules in, I think that's going to open up a lot of interesting options for us, both in terms of adding structures and various new modules around the track, but it'll also allow us to play a bit more with the track that we have down there and try out some different options, layouts, and configurations as well, which should be a lot of fun. So let's dive in. A lot to cover, and like I said, this is really going to feed into a lot of videos that you're going to see over the next few days, going in depth into specific parts of the layout and specific things that we are getting built, fixed, etc. So really excited not only to show you guys this stuff, but to really set up what you're going to start to see on the channel over the next few days and carrying on throughout the month of September. So to start off here, we're in a slightly different viewpoint than we normally show during our videos. We're on the interior of the tabletop layout and gives us a really cool vantage point. You can see all the great things going on around the Lego room and a number of the projects and things that we need to work on. So a great place, I think, to start for this particular video. Now, one of the first things that really sticks out at the moment when you look around the Lego room, we've got the giant wall of Mills modules along the back of the city area over here. Really excited with the progress we've made over the last few months here, pulling together all of these components for a number of Mills modules that we wanted to use around both the tabletop layout and the new lower level layout. Been a lot of effort to pull all these together, and we still have one stack over there that's waiting on a few more parts to come in, but we've managed to really condense everything down. There was a lot of in-progress Mills modules around the room, a lot of parts for Mills modules in various places. So really excited with where we've managed to get ourselves to. And the big goal for the next day or two here is to get all of these off the tabletop here so that we open up the track area for trains to run around again. But we want to, in that process, start to get these all integrated into their final homes around the Lego room. In some cases, there may still be a bit of a transition period where, we might have some stacks of Mills modules sitting around the lower level layout next to the track they're going to be integrated with, but hoping pretty quick that all of the, last minute additions to these mills modules to get track mounted on them. Hoping that'll all happen fairly quickly here. I think we've got the final bits of parts in that we needed from various Bricklink orders to really push forward on that. So that's the big thing for the next couple of days here. Get those mills modules integrated, get as much of the lower level layout converted over to mills so that not only can we start to run trains down below on a fully mills integrated layout, but also want to get all of those track modules to a place where we can start to take things out and get them packaged up for the train show we're going to be displaying at in, it's really more of a week and a half now rather than 2 weeks, but coming up fast, but really excited to be able to start pulling some of those new track modules for use at this upcoming train show. In particular, looking forward to taking those 2 big stacks of green mills modules and using those for our 2 new T-junctions that are on the lower level. And you can see we've got a number of modules that have started to get the double straight track on them. Those will be going into the layout shortly. And we've got some great work happening on a number of the snowy corner modules for the winter village. They're all sitting over on this side of the lower level layout at the moment. To get finished up, but those will be moving over to their final place on the lower level layout down there in the coming days. Really excited though, as we start to move all of those mills modules into their final or near final sort of places or integration points around the Lego room. It's going to continue to open up a lot of space for us around the layout as a whole to move around. I'll show you guys the outside view in a little bit. Still a number of things that are in the way and sort of around, but it is getting easier to move. And, I notice it's a lot easier to get to and from different parts of the layout than it has been over the last little while, which I'm pretty excited about. So that's going to be a cool improvement for us. Now let's take a closer look at the far end of the layout over there and the work we've been doing with parts orders that have been coming into the Lego room. Now, obviously, with all of the different projects that we're working on, that requires a large number of pieces, both for mills modules, for setting up the track ballast and the underlay that goes between the mills and the track. Lots of parts for all of that. Things have been coming in and we've been using things up as fast as we can, but I've also been working on getting things sorted out, integrated into the Acro Mills wall where we can, and otherwise, separated out into various containers so that we can start to use these parts for the builds that we're working on. A number of these parts are going to go into our build office over there where we can access them as we move through a number of the different projects we have on the roadmap for this month. A couple of the big ones for the upcoming train show. We've got the vinegar factory that we've talked about. We've got a cool yellow train station. We've got an awesome coal tower that I've been waiting to build for a while, and I think we're going to get it done in the very near future, which is really exciting. Can't wait to see that around the layout here. Plus, we've got just a lot of train, car, locomotive builds on the agenda. Lots of great stuff. So with all of the mills modules getting finished up and integrated into various parts of the layout, we're also working on clearing off this end of the layout here so that we can run trains again, and so that these parts all move to places where I can easily access them for these builds that we're working on. So lots of continued stuff to do here, but making great progress and happy with how this is starting to clear up already. But really excited that we've been able to get all of these parts together for use in and around the layout with all of these projects. Lots of cool stuff. You can see lots of dark blue gray parts that are used for various track modules. We've got the great yellow flowers there that are going to be used for some fun sunflowers that we're building. This corner's been a bit of a mess for the last 6 months, I want to say, since the last train show that we went out to. We've got a number of tree modules that we need to fix up over here. I really want to do some work to tidy up and get the sort of camping, outdoor, foresty modules into a good place over here. We've got the A-frame cabin, which needs to be tidied up a bit after it came back from the last show. Lots of stuff to do here around and in addition to the parts cleanup. But, as we start to peel back these layers, we can, make a focused effort on some of these other bits of work that have been hidden in and around the parts and the various things that have been building up over here. Also really want to clear up and get some of these train cars and things integrated and back into the various train tracks that we have around the layout. So lots to do over here. Really happy though with how things are progressing, and I think there should be a lot of great improvements on this end of the layout as we move through the next couple of days. The other thing I should mention while we are on the inside of the loop here and looking specifically at the city side of things, I really have not done as much work as I want to on the city part of the layout over the last 9 months, really. We've been working on a lot of other areas around the Lego room and the layout. And we're going to start shifting back a bit to the Lego City for a number of reasons. I've got a number of interesting lighting projects that I want to get back to and get integrated over here. And just a lot of great buildings that I want to build that I want to get integrated into the city here. So not going to say too much about the city at the moment. We will have a video in the next couple of days going through in more detail and depth the current state of the city and the work that we're going to be doing. But just know that this is definitely going to be a focal point. Probably a little bit of work here early in the month, but a lot of work in the back half of September as we work to finish off and extend out our Lego City and the lighting that we have around the layout in general. Now going down a level so we can see the lower level layout. You can see over on this side underneath the Lego City, we've got all of those corner modules that I was referring to for the Winter Village. We've got those in their stacks of 4. There's basically 4 corners that we're building out, and we are working on each of the component 12. There's 12 different mills modules that go into one corner. So you can see the stacks of 4 there. We're going to be working through all of those one stack at a time, finishing things off so that the corner modules can be integrated over in behind those train boxes there where the Winter Village is going to live. I've been doing a bunch of work over there as well with getting the track set up with the Trix Bricks snowy train track ties, railway ties. Really excited about that. We'll show you guys that in an upcoming video. But looking forward to getting the Winter Village in place first. And from that, we're going to then sort of really spill out around the rest of the lower level layout here. The straight track is going to be one of the easier parts to get onto mills down here. But we've got everything set up and ready to go for the T-junctions as well. Obviously, there's the one T-junction here, and then the other T-junction on the other side over here. Really happy with those two T-junctions, and getting those mounted onto mills is going to be an exciting achievement as well. So lots of track work down here, but the nice thing for all of these track modules that we're putting together is that we have basically templates to follow. I've got a T-junction on the tabletop layout that works great at the moment. We're going to use that as the template for how to lay out all of the tile work on the mills module so that all of the track just slots in nicely and is ready to go for those new mills modules. So things should move fairly quickly. Excited about how that stuff should go, and we will cover that more in upcoming videos. But take a close look at the non-mills lower level layout, because very quickly you're going to start to see a lot less wood under here and a lot more mills modules, which I think is going to be really cool. An exciting milestone, like I said, for us and this part of the Lego room. But it should really open up a lot of opportunity for us down here, and will let us get a number of additional trains running. It's been cool to have 2 trains running down here at once around the layout, but I'm really excited to take those 2 trains and bump it up to 4, with 4 train tracks looping around the lower level layout here, and then seeing where we can go from there. It'll also let us get a few more of these train cars and locomotives onto track and onto sidings for display, rather than having things sort of loose around on different surfaces. And there's a few things down here that I want to get fixed up and finished off as well. Also pushing to get all of the straight track that we have down here mounted onto mills modules. So really, lots of cool stuff to do down here. A mix of, mills and getting everything organized on that front. A lot of cleanup still too, trying to make sure that we don't have, loose bits of track around, getting those mounted, and ones that don't fit we'll put into storage for the time being, but those will give us a great resource to pull from as we come up with new modules, new layouts, and, as we go out to train shows. Also excited over there, we've got all the parts we need to finish some of the polish work on our lift out bridges on the lower layout. So pretty soon we'll be able to say goodbye to the mix match of paneling on those lift out bridges. They've been working super well, but I think the polished, sort of more polished, consistent look across all of them will just take them up to another level, which is really exciting and cool. So lots of stuff to work on down here, but like I said, a lot of it is going to be just sort of more busy work as we sort of follow our templates and guidelines to get these copies of modules that are already on the tabletop layout, get those copied and down here, get everything integrated, and then start to move forward from there. So that kind of covers the lower level layout. We will come back to this in the coming days as these modules get finished off and integrated. But just wanted you guys to see where everything's at. And like I said, take note of what it looks like now, because you should start to see some rapid changes as we go through the next couple of days. One other thing that I see here that I want to cover that you'll see probably a little bit of from the outside of the layout, but we've got a number of stacks of magazines. I've got a whole bunch of model railroad and Lego magazines that I collect. There's a nice stack over there as well. We're going to do a push looking through some of those magazines, flagging some of the things that I've been inspired by in the magazines, and talking about some different projects that might stem from that. And we're going to do some work on organizing those as well, so that it's a lot easier to find and refer to stuff when I have opportunities for new projects that come up. So Definitely going to be some interesting videos around that this month as we get those tidied up and, sort of go through, and I'll show you guys some of the cool stuff that I've been seeing in those magazines. I personally get a lot of inspiration from model railroading magazines, and, I'm really excited that I've been able to collect so many of those magazines over the years. So it will be cool to not only get those organized and easier to use, but it'll be cool to walk you guys through a number of those as well. While I'm here, let's take a quick look over at the industrial train yard side of the layout. I still am really happy with the grain elevator module. It's done a lot of work for me over the last few years. It's gone to a number of shows. It's not going to the next train show that I'm going to. I'm not sure that I'm going to get back to this in the month of September, but I have a number of projects in mind for rebuilding parts of this, tidying it up, getting it sort of fixed up and ready to go again at, maybe a show early in the new year, but at some point next year, I would like to have this ready to go in a new form. I've got a number of cool ideas for some more agriculture stuff in general around the layout, and I think, coupling those with some improvements and fixes and polishing to this particular module will be great. So just something to keep an eye on. Like I said, I don't expect that I'm going to work on this in the near future, but I've got a number of cool ideas and things that I want to do with this. And it's been an awesome module in general. So looking forward to giving it some attention and, working on it in the, call it the midterm sort of, the next 2 or 3 months. Definitely wanted to put a number of hours into fixing this up. Now looking down through the train yard, there's a bunch of things I want to do and finish off on these 2 modules, the oil tanks there. We've got a bit of an oil depot sort of area in general here. Number of things that I need to work on there. But beyond that, I need to do a number of things still with trains that you see in the yard area here. I've got some motors that I want to get integrated into the Santa Fe train. We've got the Union Pacific just over that way, which needs some TLC, and some things that I want to do with the Maersk locomotive over there to extend that out. And I can see the my Dutch locomotive over there as well that needs some fix up and some TLC. That's one of the big reasons why I want to get the train layout on the tabletop here functional again in the next day or 2. I want to be running trains basically every day, and days will become a mix of sort of fix up and polish for trains, as well as doing some general building on various modules around the layout that we need to work on. Nice to have a mix of projects to work on so that it's always, if you get frustrated or a little sort of numb to one type of project, you can, transition over to something else to clear your head and make some progress, so that you can come back to other projects with a fresh outlook. So excited to work on a number of these train modules here. Like I said, we've got quite a few locomotives and train cars that are going to be coming online in the next few weeks here. So it'll be really cool as we sort of grow our fleet of trains that we can run around the layouts here. Looking forward to having more locomotives that are motorized and more train cars that we can be pulling. And also looking forward to trying to extend out the length of the trains that we can run around the layout here. So lots of cool stuff ahead here. Oh, I can also see the Metra train cars there, which we need to get the wheels on so that those can start to move around the layout. Lots of stuff ahead here. but this should be a fun sort of different set of projects to work on in between the various buildings and track modules that we're building as well. Now, taking a look at our Acro Mills storage containers over here in the corner. We've covered this a lot over the last few videos. I won't go into too much detail here. Just suffice it to say, we've been making a lot of progress with getting parts integrated back into the wall, and it's been fun also to get a number of the drawers here restocked with parts from various Bricklink orders. We've got several more Bricklink orders to get put away into the drawers up here, but happy with our progress there and more work ahead as we, continue to get parts sorted out, put away, and, increase the accessibility of all the parts that we have in our backlog. Also, just want to call out, we're going to be freeing up some more space so that we can easily get back up to the upper layout. I want to get into the habit of bringing trains up and down from the upper layout on a more regular cadence. I'd like to get that red train and the trolley down onto the main layout to run around a bit, get some different trains up onto the upper layout there. Really happy, continue to be happy with that upper layout. I think one of the things you'll notice over the next little while, I've got the facade work and some different scenery work that I want to work out for the upper layout over there along that wall. I think we should be able to get to that in the next 4 weeks or so here. So that's one of the things. We've got all the parts in for that. We just need to get things built and integrated up there. So looking forward to test driving a few things there. And then coming back around, you can see we've been working on thinning out the number of parts up on the upper part of the Acro Mills wall over here. Still some work to do there, still some part drawers down here, but making headway and getting those sorted out, fixed up into the wall where they can be. Or where we can, just making use of them in various projects so that we tidy things up and make it easier to both find stuff and sort of get through some of these different aisleways around the layout. So been happy with some of the progress we've made over here. Lots more to go, but that'll be another area as we continue to progress over the next month that I want to see some improvement in and work on finishing up some of the builds over here. Also, you'll notice a few of the FX bricks boxes around. Really excited to get our 9-volt track set up soon. Not sure if that's going to be in the next week or two, but definitely later in the month we will have the track for that set up. Probably initially upstairs, and then we'll see if we can work that into a more permanent place down here in the Lego room, but really excited about that. And as we continue around the corner here, lots of track to integrate and clear up. We've got lots of Trix Bricks and FX Bricks track at the moment that we have plans for where it will go. We just need to get those things integrated and built out, and we'll organize a bunch of that up here so it's easier to get past these spots. Also, I want to get this is our T-junction light that we've shown on the channel before that's been sort of spaced out of the lower layout by our 2 full T-junctions that we've got from Trix Bricks. I'd like to get this set back up, maybe upstairs for a period of time so that we can test it out and make sure everything's where we want it to be. And then I think we'll probably box that up so that it's together, easily accessible, but out of the way and easy to call on in the future when we need it. But that's an example of something that I want to get into, sort of more of a longer term storage situation until we need it around the layout or for a show, whatever it might be. I want to make sure that when we need that track again, we're ready to pull it out and make use of it right away. Now, as I mentioned, we've got this one final stack of unfinished Mills modules here that I need some more parts before we can finish them off. We're looking for some more 2x4 bricks as well as some 4x8 plates. Hoping to have those in the next week or two so that we can put the finishing touches on these Mills modules. But this is the last stack of unfinished modules that we have. We've got a few more finished ones here that we've been pulling off the layout from behind the city there. These will be working into either under the table layout locations or a few spots on the tabletop layout. But we're really getting close to having all of these Mills modules off the ground here, which will be awesome. Really looking to continue to open up this space here so that it's easy to access both the lower level layout and the tabletop layout. You can see over there where we used to have a stack of Mills modules. It's just nice to get these pockets of space now that we can start to move through and use for other things that we're working on. So really happy about that, and really keen to finish this last bit off here so that we can fully reclaim this space. A couple other things to note while we're over here. We're making a lot of progress on cleaning this area up. Parts in bins, a lot of parts just used and fully integrated now into modules. As we're going through and doing that city video, I expect this week we're going to have a nice lighting video. We'll kind of review through a number of the kits that we're going to be making use of and start to get those integrated into various modules around the layout. And as I also mentioned, train magazines, we're going to do a big push on those over the next little while as well. One other thing to note over here, we have been making great progress on our Bricker Builds display area and some of the other models that we want to have displayed on this section of the Lego room wall. We'll be making a push here to clear this area out a bit of some of the bins and storage that we have there. So we'll be looking to get things sorted out, integrated into our Acro Mills wall or elsewhere around the room so that we can get more models up on the shelves here. And we've got quite a few other Bricker Builds Lego models that we're going to be building over the coming weeks to integrate into this wall and to start to fill up the upper part of the wall. So you'll start to see that shelving unit's going to come down here. We'll probably got another shelving unit we'll pick up to integrate higher up on the wall there. But really looking forward to continuing to flesh out this display area and finish a number of these Bricker Builds models off. I'd like to get Mario finished off as well. Just need to find a part for his mustache and then I can get the rest of his head done soon, hopefully. But super happy with these models here and looking forward to continuing to build out this part of our display area over here. Should be a lot of fun. And my build and filming area in the office here, not much has changed over the last little while. Been trying to work through organizing things. We've got a lot of parts, we've got a lot of sets all around the room here, so lots to continue to work on over here and improve both from a display and organization standpoint. So we will focus more here later in the month probably, and we'll do more of an in-depth walkthrough as we get a lot of this area sort of sorted out and get the time to work on it. But this is definitely an ongoing project area as well. Lots and lots of chaos in particular at the moment, all the parts that we've got around and some of the in progress trains and locomotives that are in behind some of those storage containers there. So lots of work ahead here, but we will focus more on this in upcoming videos and give you guys a more in-depth walkthrough of this room and some of the things that we want to do here. The only other area we haven't looked at closely in this particular video, and we'll cover in more depth or in more detail in future videos, is the stairway down into our Lego room. Covered that in a number of previous videos. Really happy with the continued sort of building out of our BrickHeads wall there. A number of great Lego art pieces on the wall. Also a bit of a storage place at the moment for a number of sets and parts and empty boxes, etc. So looking to tidy that up, but we will do a more in-depth look at that in an upcoming video as we start to move into that area. But, you know, not really the focal point at the moment. A lot of stuff that I'm going to be, I guess the main focus for me over the next month here is really going to be in the main Lego room here and to some extent in our build room. You know, as we really tidy things up around the layout, make a big push on some of these projects and continue to enhance not only the way our layout looks, but also our storage and display areas as well. Lots of work ahead, but really excited to get a number of these sort of foundational pieces in place, which should now let us springboard forward and really start to accelerate with some of the builds and various modules that we want to add to all of our layouts. That was a ton of stuff to cover. There's still so many things that we will talk more about in the coming days as we work through some of these different projects and some of the sort of more detailed videos on a number of these subjects. But I hope you guys found this interesting. I'm really excited about what is ahead over the next month. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Lots of great stuff ahead, and you don't want to miss out on any of those videos. And thank you guys very much for watching. We will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.